Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and a partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country and now the world. We have hosted tours over the last 22 years to Italy, Spain, Oregon, and soon France. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our third season, and our podcast is all about the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired with every podcast. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Welcome everyone to another episode of Inspiring Living. I hope everyone's year is off to a great start. We have some exciting news to share, as today is the premiere showing of our new TV show on the Design Network, Extravagant Spaces, with host celebrity designer Kelli Ellis. Our show airs on the Design Network Saturday, January 20th at 6 p.m. And we have 2 episodes this week featuring our Candelaria Design homes, and then 2 more every week going forward for the next 6 weeks. So 6 extravagant Candelaria homes coming your way. My guest on today's podcast is none other than our show's host, Kelli Ellis, who zoomed all the way from Barcelona, Spain, and my good friend, client, founder, and CEO of the Design Network, Jason Harris. So stay tuned for that. So one of the homes featured tonight is a 64,000, yes, you heard correct, 64,000 square foot home that Isabel and I collaborated on, built by Schultz Development. And I happen to have Isabel right here with me. Are you excited?
I am so excited. I am so happy so many people are going to get to see this house because it is absolutely beautiful.
It's insane. And this home was quite a project, one of our all-time largest homes, and one that Earth and Images received a Wow Room Award from Lux Magazine.
That's right, for the bowling alley.
Yeah, for the bowling alley. Just one of the many rooms in this house. So 64,000 square feet. What's your favorite space in this house, Isabel?
I mean, the bowling alley is pretty exquisite. We got to do just a beautiful treatment on the walls to do sound remediation in there. And also the indoor swimming pool.
Which just happens to be just off the bowling alley.
That was pretty neat to do. And who wouldn't want to do a hair salon?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a dream. It still is like a dream thinking about that project.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check that out. I mean, it's just crazy. One of the coolest houses we've ever done. It's basically a resort. I mean, there's like no reason to ever leave that house, right?
That was the whole idea.
How did you like filming with Kelli? Were you nervous when we started?
I was, but she was so fun, and she's just so great, and like just such a blast to be with that my stage fright, I feel like, didn't last as long as it might have.
No, you got right into it. And you'll see, we never did takes. I mean, we did a few takes here and there, but basically when you see the episode, that was pretty much almost live. That was pretty much unedited.
And it was so fun and so neat to see their process and just the creativity of what they were creating with the house is just, I'm kind of in awe of it all.
Yeah, I mean, their crew was awesome. And the whole thing was a great experience. And I told Kelli in the podcast, it was like we both knew her forever. It's like we were instant friends.
We were.
Right?
I can't wait to see her again.
I know, exactly. So, well, great job. And you know, I always love collaborating with you. So we can't wait to check it out. Okay, then the other home premiering tonight is a home I did with my partner, Meredith Thompson. On this home, we collaborated with interior designer Wendy Black Rogers, who did an amazing job and was so fun to work with. Both Meredith and Wendy are featured in this episode. This home was also built by Schultz Development, and the home was just featured in the November-December issue of Lux Magazine. So 2 amazing homes premiering tonight. The link to the Design Network will be in the story notes, and each week we will be featuring new homes. The show will also be on YouTube. Just type in my name or Extravagant Spaces and check us out there too. Okay, let's get to our interview with Kelli Ellis and Jason Harris of the Design Network. On today's episode, we are excited to showcase our new TV series on the Design Network, Extravagant Spaces, and we are joined by two amazing people from the Design Network, designer and Extravagant Spaces host Kelli Ellis, and founder owner of the Design Network, Jason Harris. Kelli is joining us from Barcelona, Spain, and she flew all the way to Arizona to film our series. What is it, late afternoon there right now as we're recording?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Jason, you're over in Greensboro, North Carolina, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yep. And they're all both zooming in, and here we are. The amazing ability of technology to combine us together in just a few seconds, right?
That's right.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so let's start with telling our listeners a little bit about yourselves. Kelli, you go first. How did you get connected with the Design Network?
I first got to know Jason from many travels to market. And as you probably heard me say on many different platforms, like market is the connector, High Point Market.
High Point Market, yes.
And High Point Market is the connector. And I met Jason through my last company that was educating interior designers at all markets nationwide. And we became fast friends and tried to figure out a way to work together. So I've had several really fun shows on the Design Network. It's been an absolute privilege. And this is the latest, Extravagant Spaces.
Well, without sucking up too much, Kelli, you are one of my favorite hosts. And when I found out you were doing the show that I was going to be on, I could not have been more thrilled. So you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, right back at you.
Yep. And then Jason, how the heck did you get on the Design Network?
Man, how much time do we have on this podcast?
Well, you were on one of my earlier podcasts, and I'll put the link to that one too, because that was a great podcast. But go ahead.
I'll try not to be redundant, but as you know, grew up in the home furnishings industry. My dad and mom started a retail furniture business in the late 60s called Furnitureland South. They started on a shoestring. And kind of lived the American dream success story. They built this incredible retail furniture business. It's become the single largest furniture store in the world. And I grew up in that business. We have about 1.3 million square feet of showroom space in High Point, and it's a retail store. Kelli comes to the High Point Market, which is twice a year, once in April, and for a week in October every year. And I've gone to, probably 30 years of markets twice a year and just have met so many people. But about a decade ago, growing up in this furniture business, I had so many great relationships with interior designers and great brands in the home furnishings industry. But I had a passion for marketing. I had a passion for video. I had a passion for storytelling. And I was sitting at a round table discussion with a bunch of furniture industry executives. And it was sort of a downtime in the furniture industry, and everyone was sort of looking at how do we grow, how do we sell more furniture, and I just felt like one of the missing things, in the industry was really a conversation with furniture companies and the end user. And I felt like video was the most powerful way to reach people. I thought television, everyone talked about HGTV. Every market, you wanted to meet the HGTV stars. And I said, man, HGTV really doesn't do a lot with design and beautiful interiors the way that I've grown up with them and know them. We should start a television network. That'd be fun. And so to me, it was just like this big idea. And in that very meeting, I went to GoDaddy.com and I typed in a couple of URLs and I typed in the Design Network. And, if you ever go like thinking of a business idea and you're going to start like a website, you think of these words or whatever, and you type them in, they're never there, right? It's never available. It's always taken. This was an available URL. Like the designnetwork.com had not been taken. And so I bought it just like on the spot. And then the next couple of weeks, I started looking into it. There wasn't a Design Network. I was like, how can there's every network. Design is the biggest word in home and fashion and industry. Yeah. And so why not start a television network? So we put a stake in the ground. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just wanted to start producing premium video content, and we did that, and it took several years, but we ended up developing enough content, working with enough amazing people, and being creative enough to get enough content to give birth to a 24/7 channel. And the timing was impeccable. It was right during a time when we had all these new free ad-supported streaming platforms come along that needed fresh, original lifestyle content. Nobody else was doing it, so we found a seam and got in there. And the last 4 years have been just incredible. We've produced 80 shows, and we continue to grow. We're on like 17 different platforms now, and the lines are blurring, so we're starting to move into some traditional television spaces now. We're on several subscription services and launching on DirecTV next month, which is a
Awesome.
huge addition for us. But
Really
it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to meet incredible people like you two. And Mark, I've got stories of how we met. I've got stories of how Kelli met. But it's just been a whirlwind, and you guys are sort of like some of my OG people with the networks. I'm so thankful for each of you guys believing in what I was building early on.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I remember, I'm married to Isabel, who everyone here on the podcast knows, my wife, Isabel, and she dragged me to from my first market, I don't know, 2011 or something like that. And I never even heard of it, and I'm like, what is this? This is incredible, not to mention all the great furniture and design, but all the great barbecue. I mean, it was awesome. And so I was there and went a couple times. And then I think the way we connected, Jason, was just through Facebook or something like that. You'd seen some of my work. I can't remember, but I think.
Well, I remember because it was your marketing person somehow saw these videos we were putting out. And was it Mira?
Mira, yeah, that's right.
She reached out and called me, and I hadn't thought about I was mostly into design. I hadn't thought much about architecture or having an architect, on a show. But she told me all about what you were doing. I went to your website. I saw these extraordinary homes, and then we connected on a phone call.
Yeah,
you remember we used to call people.
Yeah,
yeah.
Weird. That works, don't you?
That's weird.
And we connected on the call, Mark.
I remember the call. I was really kind of nervous to meet you because of what I had quickly learned to be your reputation and the awesome work that you had been doing. And knowing that I was so new to this, I'm kind of trying to sell what we're doing. But you were quick. We made quick friends. Yep. And we came up with the show idea. I said, look, I've got these furniture manufacturers that are helping me get this started. They're co-founding sponsors. I've got some budget. I'm just going to send you some money and you do a show for us. Just figure out how to do it. Yeah.
That's how it started with some of these. And so I remember the name, like you had this word architainment.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah. And so it had been taken.
Yeah. So we actually first show architainment, which
and
is
then they piped up.
Because you're this guy that combines architecture with entertainment, and you came up with this word, and I was like, that's a great name for a show. And you have had some incredible clients that do all these unique things to their homes. And so we were telling those stories, and we launched the first episode and said, whoops, that someone already has that name kind of wrapped up. We changed it to what you do best, and that's sketch.
Yeah.
We did a couple of seasons of sketch, which were awesome.
Yeah. So all I can say is thank you so much. First of all, that was a lot of fun. I learned a ton doing that. And I realize, especially now after doing this new series with Kelli, how much better you guys do production than I do. And this time it was just like so wonderful to not have to deal with any of that stuff. And the quality that you guys bring to the table just, is a whole nother league. So having done both, I have a real big appreciation for what goes into what you guys produce, and it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of trial and error trying to, it's expensive to produce, high quality, television quality video content. And, we've managed our way in with some very efficient, lean, creative producers that do an amazing job. And we still do it in a pretty lean fashion. Yeah. But that also makes it a little more comfortable for our hosts and everybody that's involved. And we've got a great graphics team, and we've learned thing or two along the way and have developed some great formats. And this one I'm very excited about because it's only through you and your relationships that we would have access to these incredible homes in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. And they are magnificent. I mean, I can't wait for people to see what these people have built out there. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Extravagant Spaces, Kelli. You've done this a couple times, right?
Yes. It's not my first rodeo. I've been doing those other channels for a very long time. And it's so comfortable to, as Jason said, to slide into this design network, basically, because you guys are doing it so professional and easy, and everybody's so wonderful to work with. And so this popped up. And of course, I love when I get a call from Jason going, hey, he calls, he uses the phone and he leaves the voicemail and just says, hey, we got something for you. We got something I want you to hear about. I think you'd be perfect for. And of course, if Jason calls, I jump because I know it's going to be fun and great. And I'm never disappointed. Yep. So this, and then it was the second thing was check out this guy. And that was you. Check out this guy and what he builds. And I was blown away. I mean, your work is extraordinary. And I love the diversity. I love all of the different spaces. And what you're creating for each of your homeowners is beyond incredible. So it was a no-brainer to just get the cameras out and start covering some of these incredible homes. So I was very, very excited to be involved.
So, Jason, how did you discover Kelli for the network?
Well, I stalked her basically for a couple of years at High Point. One thing that I learned, Kelli has a really unique look. And she's got a great brand. And, if you would go around market, any given High Point furniture market, you're going to see her face on a cover of some kind of brochure, magazine, billboard, something going like the panel discussions. And, and I knew, and so she also had a business that she was developing where it was training interior designers and designer purchasing programs and things like that. And so I had an interest there to connect with her for our retail business to kind of connect in with designers. But, it was tough to kind of connect with her. She was like a rock star in my mind. And finally we just connected and had a couple of great conversations. And I share with her my vision, my passion for what we were doing. And she'd been doing some HGTV shows and, so it was a dream of mine to get someone of this caliber that really there's a certain vernacular, there's a certain, you got to know the vocabulary of this world of design, and Kelli just has it. I mean, she's steeped in experience of the world of design. And that's one of the things that I wanted to stand for with this network, is that I didn't really want hosty hosts. We wanted hosts that really were passionate and knowledgeable and experts in their field. And that's why I'm talking to you guys right now. You're both that. You live, eat, breathe, and sleep your areas of expertise and have the passion for it. So, we just became fast friends, and similar to what we did, Mark, where I gave you some budget, I did the same thing with Kelli, and, we got a couple little shows off the ground, and then we've done several things together. I think Design Therapy was really one of my favorite shows that we've done together. She basically worked with some couples, one couple, Ashley Green and her husband, and they're newlyweds, and kind of, giving them therapy for their home as they're designing it.
That's one of my favorite series too.
Yeah, we did 2 seasons of that. We also worked with, with Ashley Green and Candy Johnson. Candy is a big, social media guru, a makeup guru that has millions of followers. And so we did a couple seasons of that show, which were great. We also cast Kelli in a show called Mid Mod Then and Now. We sort of spotlighted mid-century modern homes with Christopher Kennedy out in Palm Springs.
Cool.
That was a lot of fun. And those were still kind of early on shows, and we really haven't worked with either of you guys for a number of years. So
Yeah.
this is nostalgic for me. As even our network's only 10 years old, but it's like, man, we're coming full circle again. And now that I actually have people watching this stuff, which and we've got amazing distribution. We have a cadence for pushing this content out, and we're growing like crazy. And we reach about 3 million people a month on television now, which is
so great,
crazy,
it's
but
incredible.
Yeah, but now that we're doing this extravagant spaces, and honestly, my daughter Lindsay came up with this name and this idea for this show, and she really wanted to emphasize like the extra in extravagant, because a lot of these homes are so extra. But we had the great fortune of connecting in with Erin Zell, who's been with our network for a couple of years.
Awesome, by the way.
She is incredible.
Big shout out to her.
Yeah, she has roots in like traditional television. She was with Disney and NBC, and she just brings just a wealth of knowledge and structure and ideas to what we're doing. It's been a joy to be able to elevate to that level of people in our organization. But she shepherded this thing with your guidance and your team, Mark, getting access to these. And I know you guys shot in like 100-degree plus weather out there in
bad.
summer.
No, we missed the summer, thank goodness. And it was warm though, I'm not gonna lie, but it was not midsummer, so it was a dream scenario. It was great.
We were lucky. So yeah, it's always interesting to reach out to these clients, because a lot of them are very private, and I kind of know from just past experience which ones are kind of open to all of this. And really all 6 that I reached out to jumped at it. And one in particular, I just like, there's no way they're going to say yes. And they did. And I was like, oh boy, we better get out there and get that one shot right away before they change their mind. So, but we had to actually send them the edited version to make sure they would sign off. I mean, they wanted to make sure everything was just crystal perfect, but we're all good. So they're very excited. So
that's excellent. Well, I mean, I feel like the entire series is going to be me just shocked the whole time. But it was so genuine and real, and the things that you created was just, and I love talking to the designers. That was a treat to understand where their inspiration came from, where they were, finding things. The getting into the heads a little bit of the homeowners, which was really fun. Yeah. It was really one of the most enjoyable television experiences ever. It just was so easy. No, it's true. It was just so easy and fun.
The thing that struck me, which, I still think about this all the time, it's like, I just felt like I knew you forever. Yeah. Like we just got into that first episode, and it was just like we had known each other forever. We were just having casual conversation, and it's like this lady's one of my best friends, and I've only met her 2 days ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And I still feel that way, obviously.
Well, same. And it's because you are who you are. So you really helped make that an easy. And like I said, it was so enjoyable just to tour these homes and hear from you, the emphasis of ideas and what was going on and why you built what you built and why the homeowners wanted what they wanted, and why, how we grew to some astounding square footages, how that actually happened. So the stories are fantastic.
Pretty neat. Yeah. And then I'm real excited about one of the first episodes featured Isabel and I on that 64,000 square foot, little cozy ranch house we did.
That little ranch.
And that's just a great project. And, to do that with my wife is just so fun. So I'm really happy and very excited about that one. And again, like what you said, we have a wide gamut of houses, from very traditional to ultra modern. And that's kind of what we do. And that's what, luckily I have a bad case of ADD. So I don't want to just do one style forever and ever. I would go completely ape shit wild crazy if I had to do the same style house all the time. So it's great to have the ability to show our diversity. And, some of these are on flat lots, some of them are on steep hillsides. I mean, we get everything. So it's going to be six homes we're featuring on this series over the next 6 weeks. So that's going to be exciting. And then Jason, we're just kind of wrapping up on a house we designed for you out in Greensboro, North Carolina. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, Man, that's been another journey of mine the last several years. But my wife and I, we have 5 kids, and some of them are grown up now. My oldest graduated from college a few years ago, and she's working with me on the design network. I feel like I work for her now because she's incredible. She spent a couple years in New York doing business development for us, and just got married this past summer at the new house that you designed for me, Mark.
Yeah.
And which was incredible. And now she's moved to Charlotte. But we've lived in the same home for our entire married lives, like 28 years, and we've raised all of our kids. We still have 2 kids at home. But we've been looking to kind of upgrade and do something different for a number of years. And we found this incredible piece of property in Sedgefield, which is an old Donald Ross golf course. We host the Wyndham Championship there. It's a big event for the Triad. So we have a PGA Tour event there. And it's a real special place. My brother lives in this community. And this magical historical piece of property came on the market. And it had actually been on the market for some time, but the third generation of this family owned the property and really were anxious to sell it at this time. And I just, I just kind of put an offer out there. And lo and behold, they accepted my offer. So it was not one of those big, this is planned. It was like, I think this would be a great investment. And so anyway, we bought this property and studied it for about a year. And it was really overgrown. It was in a great location, beautiful topography, a lot of great natural features and big oak trees and everything on this property. And it had a 90-plus-year-old sort of dilapidated mansion on it. And, we studied it for a year, thought about maybe renovating part of the home or renovating all of it, but it was completely dysfunctional. And so, we got you involved early on and to look at it. We spent a year and a half cleaning this property up and also connected in with one of my dear friends, Anne Marie Barton, who's also an OG designer on the network who I met through our business.
Amazing.
And so, I got both of you guys involved from an architecture and design perspective, and we studied it for a year or so. And you took me through your process, Mark, which was fascinating to all of us involved. I learned a new word in this process, and it's called charrette. And I use that word just about on a weekly basis now as we get brands involved in the network, where I reach out to these brands and really want to learn. I want to get all the key stakeholders involved. I want to know all the goals and marketing that they have and all the key messaging. And they're like, wow, he wants to have a charrette. And I was like, and I'm like, I got that.
You got to watch the spell check on that one because, man,
nobody can spell it.
Right.
But we had this charrette where our whole family got involved and we just put down our list of the things that we wanted. Like, well, let's put down everything that you want in the house, and then Mark says, well, we're going to do like a spreadsheet of what rooms and what sizes of the rooms do you want? And so he has this formula. And so from this, he basically creates these, I don't know if it's 1/8-inch scale or 1/4-inch scale.
Just room cutouts.
Yeah, they're blocks. They're basically blocks of rooms that like cutouts of pieces of paper that's the size of the room at scale. And so then we lay these things out on a table as a group, and we kind of piece together how we want the house to flow. So you want a big great room and kitchen here. You want a library or a parlor room. Let's put that here. That seems like it'd be natural to flow from we want a grand hallway. We want a primary suite. Here's the number of bedrooms. We want a craft room, whatever. And we start to piece those things together and think about how we want the house to flow. But there's also a study of the property where Mark goes out and really walks the property and says, what are our view corridors? Like, how do we want to orient this house on the property? And, he does these aerials and basically kind of lays this house out, looking at all the topography, things that just blow my mind. And so we went through that whole process and Mark designed, an amazing home for our family. And we just finished it like this week. We still have a few more things to finish with the driveway, and we're moving in like 2 weeks. But it's been a journey and a process, and, so many things like that. When I sort of approved these plans and we got them inked, I had no idea what I was I was in for, like, because when when we started constructing this house and like framing the house, which was a process that also was incredible to see these men come together and work together and frame a house. Like,
It is very
but
neat.
walking through this home, there was so many things that I had not seen on these 2D plans that came to life. Vestibules and view corridors, and just like you said, Kelly, when you came out, like every 10 feet that you walk in a Mark Candelaria home, you're astounded by something, some kind of a view or amazing touch. But we had the dream team involved. I had a great builder, Tim Glenn in Greensboro. Anne Marie, just she does amazing work, and we went for a sort of a historical modern style is what we've termed this. And the neighborhood is 100 plus years old, and a lot of traditional Tudor type homes there. And so we couldn't do, like, I love modern, but we wanted to do a traditional home with a modern twist to it. Yep. And so we also wanted high ceilings. We wanted a lot of natural light to come into the home. And so we got all that, and yeah, we got it. So
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. We're excited about this next chapter in our lives where, we've just been raising kids. We haven't done a lot of entertaining, things like that. But this home is built for hosting and entertaining and having people over and having parties. And so we're just stoked about it. So excited.
Well, like I always say, go ahead.
You know what, Mark? Sorry, what I heard was that we have 5 kids, but only 2 at home. So what that means to me is you've got some extra rooms for Mark and I, is what I heard.
There you go. Plenty of space.
That's what I took away from.
Like I said, there's that small clause in your contract that says I got to come cook in that kitchen and use that pizza oven. Yeah. So you can put that together anytime you want. I'm happy to cook for as many people as you can bring into that house, Jason.
Man, I can't wait. And that's probably the single feature that I'm most excited about is we did an outdoor pizza.
Oh yeah. So
and it's a good one. It's wood fired and it's got a gas line to it. But it's and when I first bought this thing, Mark, I was like, Mark, I think it takes like an hour to heat this thing up and get it at the right temperature. He said, listen, that's part of the amazing joy of this, is that it's an event and you have to spend time doing it. You're gonna slow everything down. And
what do we say in Spain, Kelly? Are just rushing to the finish line.
Exactly. This is an experience.
Enjoy the experiences.
We will have a weekend asado, is what they're called, right? We'll have a weekend asado, and it literally has 2 rounds. It's the late lunch, and everything's late. And then there's the partying and dancing and singing and enjoying and talking. And then there's the dinner round. No one's going anywhere. Yeah. This is the day. It's almost like what we do for holidays, but they do it on almost every weekend.
Yeah.
I love that.
Big difference. So that's what I love when I go to Europe. It's just like, okay, dinner's I tell them, I do my tours and I try to educate my travelers before these tours. I go, okay, how long is dinner gonna last? An hour, couple hours? I go, no, probably about 5 hours. And they look at me like crazy, And then they go, and not only that, but dinner won't start till 9 p.m.
Yeah, and that's like, early.
What? And then about the 3rd day on the trip, they go, I can't believe I'm eating dinner at 9 o'clock and I don't get home till 2, and I feel great, So it's funny. Exactly. Anyway, Kelly, tell us what projects you're working on. You told me some interesting things before we jumped on.
Yeah. Well, having been a designer for, oh my gosh, I don't even want to say, over almost 30 years. Wow. That's crazy, right?
Wow.
I've transitioned most of my work into hospitality as of the last 10 years. So the hotel chain that I'm currently a brand designer, lead designer on, is looking to branch to Spain. So I've got some interesting projects that are going to happen here in south of Spain. Beautiful whitewash village outside of Almeria. It's absolutely stunning. One of the last standing whitewash villages in Spain, and some private residences there as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That's on my radar. And then of course with the antiques and art, I'm always bopping around between the UK and Europe, having fun, finding the most beautiful pieces I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Treasure hunting. That's so awesome.
Yes.
So, Jason,
Yes.
what things do you have cooking? You're all, like I said, just through the course of this podcast, your mind's always moving. I've watched you for what, 12 years now. I've seen how you operate, man. What do you got going? What do you got cooking in the future?
Pizza.
Pizza. I love it.
A lot of pizza.
You're becoming a pizza master.
We're so fired up about like the network and kind of where it's going with the content and just launches on, we're launching on Tubi Canada, we're launching on DirecTV. We have our channels growing on other platforms. We're growing big time with Samsung TV Plus. We're seeing significant growth on the Roku channel. Everyone seems to be watching Roku.
Huh.
And Fubo has been a real growth
Yeah.
for us. But anyway, just really leaning into, and we're taking our programming into, I don't know, a little bit different level of, our word for the year has been curiosity. We just want to lean into more curious programming. And so we have just a slate of amazing shows that that are in development, that are in production right now, that really are doing great. We sort of, we've done a lot of experimentation and development of different formats over the last several years. And that's always going to be part of our DNA, is to try new things, but we've also landed on some formats that just work. And they're some of the formats that people love are some of the most efficient and inexpensive formats to produce for the network. And we have a show, I think we produced nearly 40 episodes of this show called The Reveal. That's what really, we started with Anna Marie Barton on this show, but it's a really simple format. It's The Reveal, and it's a designer home tour show where the designer has been working on a project similar to what we've done in the last couple of years. And they do a home tour, and they walk and talk about every space and the reasons why and the features of every room. And we shoot it very cinematically, very professionally, multiple cameras. And it's really fun to kind of tap into that designer and let them just go, because they have so much that they want to share, and and people are fascinated just by, again, the vocabulary and the features and the why and the materials that go into these spaces. We have a show called Tiny B&B that we found this guy on YouTube, Levi Kelly, and he travels the world and goes to tiny home Airbnbs and stays in these homes, and and tours these spaces, and people are fascinated with that. But those are just continuously rinsing and repeating for us. We have some other new formats that we're delving into that are exciting as well. We have a show that we're going to do on the campus of my alma mater, UNC Chapel Hill, which is going to be a Shark Tank type show. We're calling it Seed Money. We spent the last 6 months working with the head of the entrepreneur program in the Keenan Flagler Business School, the head of the entrepreneur minor program, the chancellor of the university, and we come up with this idea to do basically an entrepreneur pitch show. So this kind of gets us out of all this home and design content, and we're talking about business design. So this word design, can mean a lot of different things, but we're getting into a show called Shark Tank, where we're gonna every episode will be themed to a certain industry, and these kids we're gonna do casting, and they're gonna pitch their big ideas to a panel of industry experts, and there'll be one winner per episode that'll win up to $250,000 in funding for their business. And so we're delving into that big time. We're talking with Eric Church's team, who's a big UNC guy. We've got we've got that format that's coming for the network. So we also have a show, and I won't bore you with all this, but called Hometown Heroes, which connects every dot in my world together. It's gonna be a celebrity first show where, and we're talking with Chris Paul, the NBA player right now, where the celebrity will go back to their hometown. And Chris is from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He goes back to his hometown and recognizes like an unsung hero, someone who's given like their heart and their passion and their soul to a certain charity or a philanthropy, some kind of cause. And they're passionate about it, and they've done so much work with it. We're going to shine the light on that person, tell their backstory, and then really tell the story of this organization and what they're doing to make a difference in the community. And then we're going to come in and do a major, massive makeover for this organization. So it's a homeless shelter, it's a family shelter.
Love it.
the offices. We're going to come in and just do a big time like furniture, paint, all kinds of construction, whatever needs to be done to do a makeover. And then we're going to do a surprise makeover for that hero themselves in a personal space. And so, and then that celebrity will pass it on to the next celebrity who will go back to their hometown. So, this one to me, we're going to leverage our furniture business for this as well. Furniture Land South have like a tremendous amount of like furniture inventory right now that we want to donate and push into things like this. But it's got celebrity, it's got, the philanthropy piece, which makes a difference. It's got a reveal and a makeover. And so I think it has all the ingredients for a special show.
It does. That's fantastic. You just send out the casting notice for the designers you need. That sounds incredible.
We're excited about that one.
Yeah, that's great.
It's all about the story. That's what I remember you always telling me, Jason, when we first started 10 years ago. It's all about the story, right?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. But all these things like they're ideas and they're big ideas. And then, but it's so fun to say, all right, this is what we're going to finally say, this is what we're going to do. And then get your team of people together. And then it's when you commit to something like it's the right thing and it's a good thing, then people just go with you and want to be part of it and want to do it. It's so fulfilling to me. And that's why I think I'm so passionate about like content and this network is that, man, it's just, you can create something out of nothing. And then all of a sudden it's like a thing, and
you hit a key thing that I always told my team all the time. It's like, a big part of it is just putting it in motion. I mean, a lot of times people wait for utter perfection before they put this in motion. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can make it perfect along the way. And sometimes you're going to have to call audibles as you go, but that's all part of the journey. But if you don't ever kick it in motion, it ain't ever going to happen. So I said, get the concept, put together as best a plan you can, but put it in motion, right?
Don't you find that the best stuff comes together quickly too? Like you said, Jason, when it's right and it feels like the stars will line up, it's just easy. It's just easy, right? People are like, yes, 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 yes. And all you hear is yes. And you're like, wow, we have the dream team. It happened so quick.
That's the other thing that you just said is it's also the combination of getting the right people together. You get a good, positive group of people that share that same value of, hey, let's just get this thing going, versus the ones that like to complain. And, it makes a big difference when you get positive people and you just put it in motion.
So Mark, to me, as I look at you, that to me is the biggest key why you've been so successful is you are the ultimate problem solver. Like you relish in these, like people bring this heap of mess to you, and listen, one of the things Mark did, I was blown away. Mark did not just draw up a set of plans to build us a house and move on. He was with us every step of the way through the build process. And he scheduled these Zooms like every couple of weeks. And he was the first guy on the call, and might be 6 a.m. his time in Phoenix. And he's always right there and ready to take on any questions, any problems, any things that we need to solve. And then he'd go and draw something up that's incredible and have it to us like the next day. And just to your point, it's like, you've got to, if you have a big idea, you have a dream or something, you got to get on that path. Right. Yeah. So, you just have to start walking on the path, and you will have obstacles that come along the way. Right.
That's part of the journey. Right.
Yeah. And so you may end up somewhere totally different than you thought you were going to when you started down this path.
You're going to be somewhere. You're going to be somewhere. You're going to be somewhere.
And it's been curated. That's for dang sure. Right. Every step of the way. You know what? Just to talking about Mark and his thorough, business acumen, right? That he was just so hands-on. You could tell that was the case with the homes that we toured, and I could see the hallmarks. I learned so much about you, right? Going from each home and seeing it. And then I knew, they are so different, but at the same time, there were the things that were you. Yeah. With the views were so important. The hallways, the orientation of the house, the different things that I learned just touring with you. And I could tell that you were just so hands-on. And I mean, it was just, it shows in the end product. That's for sure.
It's about the axes.
Right.
Axes, alignment.
Everything has an axis to it and symmetry. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, so if you look at certain, lines, you look down the hallway and everything's going to line up even outside of the house.
Right.
It's with lines. And so he draws, if you look at his sketches and his drawings, you're going to see these axis lines that like guide everything that he does. That was fascinating for
Right.
me to see that and see it come to life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I try to use those same access points in my life itself.
Nice.
It's
Love
very
it.
simple.
Everything's got a view.
You've got a view and I'm moving towards that view. And it's like, I tried to incorporate some of that thinking just in how I live my life. And it's awesome because it brings calmness, right? When you're in that house, the alignments just help your mind put everything at
For
ease.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, we like that in our brains. That's the design psychology part of it, that where you don't have to close a loop when it's already presented to you, right?
Yes.
You're not wondering where this leads to or where that leads to or what that little corner weirdness is. Because it's so open. You don't wonder what's outside because I can see it because Mark has lined the windows up with the hallway, right? And the window and the view. And if there's a feature
tree outside,
it's there. The feature is there. I don't have to guess what that thing is outside. So your brain is able to close that loop that we so want when in design.
You know what else he can do, Kelly?
Make pizza.
Well, I hope
where
so.
I was just going to go.
But he can draw upside down. So he's like, I'm telling you, like,
Right.
yes, he's sat across from his client so many times at a table that they're across the table. And so he sketches something and draws it upside down. So it's right side up to them.
I already know what it looks like. I'm drawing it for them. So
that's so great.
But yeah, we also wrapped up our whole filming series with a fun little evening here at Casa Candelaria, didn't we?
We sure did. It was so much fun. And you were talk about a host. You can tell that you really, really love to do that. It was so enjoyable. You cooked for everybody, played the piano for everybody. We had conversation and wine, and it was really fantastic. I
forgot about the piano playing. We did. I pulled out all the stops that night, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
It was so wonderful. Absolutely loved it.
I also remember someone else has a birthday coming up, don't you?
I do, and I have made the trek to the desert pretty much every year for like the last 15 or 20 years to Arizona for my birthday. It's in February. I love going out there that time of year. The weather's always perfect. But for my 50th birthday, I came out to Scottsdale, and Mark did the same thing for me, Kelly. He hosted. We had a big group, and he hosted this incredible dinner at his office with all his staff. And it was probably the most special thing anybody's ever done for me, to be honest with you. We walked in and he had in this room like photographs of every aspect of our project from the inception and photos of the property, photos of us doing our charrette, photos of progress. I mean, and these are big blown up pictures that were all over the walls of this room. And it was like a shrine to this project. And so it was so special. And of course, Mark got on his piano and sang happy birthday to me. And we were treated like kings. And it was such a unique night for all of our friends.
Well, if you got out of here this February, come on. I'd love to have you at Casa Candelaria because you've never been here to my house. So
yeah, I don't think we're going to make it this year. I took a plunge and I'm doing something really unique this year. I'm coaching a high school golf team.
Oh, awesome.
Fun.
And so it's my son's senior year, and they've had a transition with the coach that they've had for like 20 years there. And I said, man, I'm going to go to all these golf matches anyway, and maybe I should just coach the team. And I talked to the headmaster, and it was my first job interview ever. They gave me the job. I'm not going to teach these kids my golf swing, but I'm excited about coaching, and that starts February the 12th. So
how fun is that? That's going to be great.
Rain check for next year then.
Yeah.
And maybe I come out and do some cooking in April.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, well, I am there. I'm already inviting myself. I'm telling you, I got dibs on one of those plates.
There we go.
Love that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, both of you guys. I think the world of both of you. I'm always fired up after I talk to either one of you. So I'm like ready to go today. This is just so awesome.
Feel the same way.
So we premiere tonight, January 20th, 6 p.m. Arizona time. And it's on the Design Network, all the different platforms. We'll post that little list that you guys gave us. We'll get that on our Instagram so everyone can find us. And we'll be on the network for the next 6 weeks. I think it's 2 houses every Saturday. that come out. So check them all out. You're going to have a lot of fun. If you have any questions about any of the houses or the designers or anything, just fire a message my way. We'll do our best to answer it. And what's the best way for our listeners to find and connect with each of you and TDN? Kelli, I'll let you go first.
Instagram, because I'm just so active on there. So at designer Kelli Ellis, Kelly with an I.
I love your Instagram. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And Jason?
I love Instagram too.
Yeah, you're the one that got me on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think it's Jason Harris FLS on there.
It is.
Yeah. Just reach out through TDN. I'm super active too on social, but yeah, I'd love to.
And the Design Network also has a nice Instagram page too.
Yeah, exactly.
At the Design Network. We'll put all the links on our story notes. So check it out. We'll even put the link to my old sketch so you can see how far I came from sketching years ago.
Fun.
Extravagant Spaces today. And it was awesome. What an honor to be a part of your network, Jason, and your family and everything. It's just been one of the best chapters of my life, to be really honest with you. So thank you.
Well, I feel
wonderful.
the same way about both of you guys. And you know what? We're just beginning, guys, right?
Let's keep going.
We're at the start line.
I love it.
So fun. So much fun.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Kelli and Jason. I love you guys. And seriously, sign me up for any project with the two of you. I cannot wait to see what you two have cooking next. Okay, check out the show on the Design Network. We will have links on our Candelaria Design website also. Okay, we have some great podcast episodes coming to you in the weeks ahead, so stay tuned. Thanks for your continued listening. Thank you also for the ratings and reviews. Please give us a rating and review as it really helps promote our podcast. Let me know that you did, and I will send you a signed copy of my book, Mark Candelaria Homes. We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes, our book, our tours, our shows, and of course, our Candelaria Design homes. Okay, have a great week, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Thanks for the listen, and we look forward to connecting again real soon. Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us. We are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team, along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen and our new Candelaria Design office expansion. You will have to check out online our video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with and dined with and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.